Okay, so my daughter was supposed to be asleep. I've been fighting her for an hour and just decided to keep her up. So if you hear her, please ignore her. I am ready to dive in. The month of February, everybody should have the book GoPro. I think this has been on my shelf since I joined Brittany in 2018, and then I went on a hiatus, and then I came back, and here we are today. I had to dust the dust off of this book, and I'm so upset with myself that it took me this long to read it, because this has completely changed my mindset. And I want to talk about what this means from a business perspective. When we say that this is a business, that's what this is. And GoPro talks about turning this into a hobby and being an actual professional when it comes to network marketing. And what I mean by professional is when people ask you what you do, you say, I do network marketing. I am a network marketer. Just like people would say, what do you do? Oh, I'm a teacher, or I'm a doctor. Those are professions, and we are in the profession of network marketing, and now it's time to treat it as such. And what does that look like from a business perspective? So number one, the quote on page 29, we'll get more into this, is the quote that completely changed my life. And I want to read it to you really quick. I'm not going to do any training on here, but I text this to Brittany, and I said, and it will change everything for you. Hey, Kalani, please, mama. Okay. It says, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Getting into business for myself was important, and I appreciate you introducing me to a company that you believe in and that I now believe in as well. But from now on, when it comes to building my business, Brittany will only be a resource for me. She will never be my excuse. I will call on you from time to time, but if you're available, that's great. And if you're not, that's okay too. I'm going to build my business, and I understand one thing: it begins and ends with me. And I text that quote to Brittany, and I said, FYI. And she said, okay, great. And that's kind of where it is. And whenever I want to talk to you about being your quote unquote own employee in a sense, and what that looks like. And so from now on, I want you to make a promise to yourself that you are your own employee, you are your own boss, you are your own auditor, you are your own salesperson, you are your own product producer, whatever it is, you are you, because people need you. And everything that we have for you is a resource. Your cloud office is a resource. YouTube is a resource. Facebook is a resource. Telegram is a resource. Your upline is a resource, but those things will never be your excuse, because they're just not from here on out. If you are on this training and if you're going to read GoPro, those things cannot be your excuse no longer, because you're going to stay stuck. And there's no reason to stay stuck when we have all of these resources available to us to go where we want to be and become the professional network marketer that it takes to be a professional. Okay. And it takes practice. It takes practice. You know, we think about those NFL players, like I'm having a huge Super Bowl party because I love football so much, but those football players did not come out of their mother's wombs 6'9" and 268 pounds and, you know, tackling people. They had to grow into that. They had to practice that. And, you know, they had to eat their way to that stature, but it took practice. And that's what we have to do here. And the beautiful thing about network marketing is that we get to earn while we learn. But the problem is that we can't earn if we're not learning. And so here we go. The concepts never change for network marketing, but your growing and your learning can change. The amount that you decide to learn, the amount that you decide to put yourself forward is always going to change, or is always going to change. But the concepts of the trainings and who we are as people, you know, those will come and go. When it comes to being a professional, the very first thing is deciding and believing that it ends and begins with you. You decided to join this business because there was something that was pulling on your heart, and now your world is opened up. And I just want to tell you right here, right now, that if this is a part-time job for you, you are still a professional. Okay, if you want this to be a hobby for you, they're a professional hobbyist. I mean, do you see all of those DIYs on Instagram and Pinterest? I am not a professional at DIY, but those people are, because they practice it every single day. And you can practice it every single day as well and become a professional network marketer for your organization. And that's what's so beautiful about what we do, is that we make money for us. And a lot of what I'm going to pull from tonight is from my Orange Theory Fitness job that I do, that is kind of my own, but I also make money for somebody else. And but I get to do what I want with it. And so with network marketing and becoming professional, it is our responsibility to take the resources that we have at hand and learn from it and implement it and grow, and then continue to learn. And so, let me see here. Okay, so number one thing that I analyzed from my Orange Theory managers is that they have this binder. Not this one, I made this one for myself. They have a binder of all the tasks that they have to do every single day, every single week, and monthly. And then every single day they are highlighting things off that they have accomplished for that day, so they can keep track of their, what's wrong, Mama? That they can keep track of their productivity. So, okay. So here is the sheet that I created, because this is my business, and this is, I need to be able to track where, because people say all the time, I'm doing all the things, Mare, I'm doing all the things. Why am I not getting the results? Are you though? Are you? Like, and this is the perfect way to do this. So I'm just going to turn my camera around so you guys can see this really quickly. Oh, can I do this? Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay, so every single day I have a daily things that I'm going to mark off, and these are things that have to get done because I've made them a non-negotiable for my business. And then weekly, I have broken it up to 7 days a week and what I'm going to do. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So sorry, everyone. And then monthly right here, the 1st and the 15th. So I'm going to update my calendar. I'm going to reach out to auto ship customers. And so this is going to be in my big old binder. And every single day I can go back. So starting tomorrow, I will go back. I will open this up first thing in the morning. And this is my business model. And this is how I'm going to keep track of if I'm truly doing all of the things. And if I'm not getting the results that I want, I can come back to my business model and say, oh, well, I was not having 20 new conversations a day. And when I say 20 new conversations a day, that means you're going out and finding 20 people that you didn't even know was on your friends group or your following group, and you go and get to know them. And if you can't get to know them, if you can't relate to them on a personal level, you need to kick them to the curb, because you're just wasting your time. We don't have time to be talking to nobodies. And everybody's a somebody, but not everybody has to be a somebody for you, okay? Don't get me wrong when I just said that. So that is what I do. And yes, I'll share it in the chat. I'll share it in the team page, actually. So this is where every single day you can come in, you will keep track of where you'll highlight when you have it done. And then weekly, you can come back and see your progress, and you can see what you are consistently doing, and you can see what your consistent actions are getting the results that you are desiring. So then at the end of the month, you can see where your results are, and you can come back and backtrack your actions to say, oh, well, I actually didn't make an unfold story weekly, and I actually didn't post a business opportunity in my stories every week like I said I was going to, because you would know, because you didn't highlight it off. Now, everybody does things differently. They have this binder, they have it on their phone, whatever it is. I'm a very hands-on person. I love to check things off of a list, because whenever I see that I'm being productive, it gives me juices in my brain to keep being productive. And so this allows me to see what I'm doing, see what I've done, and see what I haven't done. And now I can be intentional on those things, because those have to get done. And so for an example, when my managers at Orange Theory Fitness don't get something marked off, they can't leave. They can't leave work. Yeah, you're tired, aren't you? Okay, maybe that They can't leave work until everything is crossed off on here. Why? Because they have to scan their productivity for the day to their boss. The difference is now we are holding ourselves accountable to show up for ourselves. And who are you showing up for? Who are you showing up for? This little one right here is the person I'm showing up for. She is why I show up and create things like this, because I have to be better so I can do better, so I can give her better. And I am not willing to look at her when I'm putting her to bed at night and say, I'm so sorry, baby girl. Mommy had a lazy day and decided not to make us any money because she decided to be lazy and to fall in her fears and to think about what other people were thinking and to fall in a black hole and shut down my dreams and hopes because I was too scared of being opinionated or whatever it was like. Do you get what I mean? That would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. Come on, people. We have to be better and do better, and we have to evaluate why we are showing up. And to be honest with you, showing up and consistently doing better to get better is not hard when your true passion and your true why is sitting right in front of you, or is sitting right next to you, or is laying in bed next to you. Because my husband is right there with me. He knows that this is going to take us. He knows that I'm fighting for a $16,000 bonus. So what does he do? He helps me when he can. Or you're saying hi? But do you guys get what I mean? Like, you have to be able to track your actions to see your results. And if you're not getting the results that you want, then you can come back and evaluate your actions. So I hope that makes sense. That was one thing. And then another thing is, when it comes to having your own business, from a manager's point of view, you have to be able to take inventory. And inventory means, what products do you have on hand? What products can you give away? What products can you sell? What products are you using the most of? What products aren't you using? Because one thing that I want to say right here is, don't go and use your product credit or your hard-earned money for a product that you won't use just because everybody else has it. Please don't, because that is not what we are in the business for. I am not, from an Orange Theory marketing position, I'm not going to tell my owner, hey, we need this product because XYZ has it too, when that's not my audience. If my audience and who I'm using, because remember, we are products of the product. And so if you're not using a product, but you're trying to sample it out, that doesn't really make sense, because people have never, I know, it's crazy. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And so if people see that you're trying to sample out this product, they're going to think, one, maybe you don't like it because you've never used it. So please don't waste your money on products that you won't use just because everybody else bought it. So always taking inventory, looking at your sales at the end of the month. What worked and what didn't? What products did you sample out the most? And maybe can you get more products in like that, because then you can talk about, this is my most sold product. This is what people are looking for. So from a business standpoint, you're like, this is my #1 sold item, and it's out of stock right now, but I'm going to get it back in stock for you. So if you want to sample it out, let me know. I'll get you on my list. Talk about it from your own storefront, because we don't have to keep inventory, but in our own, yes, ma'am, in our own business and organizations, we kind of like, see, okay. Where do you, how many customers did you get? So this is all about inventory. How many customers did you sign up, and how many and how many bought? How many potential, promoters, I'm so sorry, I hope you guys can hear me. How many auto ships did, went out, and where does that line up with your goal? I'm so sorry. Where's your product credit? And how much product credit are you earning? And how much product are you giving away? And how much are you using yourself? And that's kind of, this is all part of being inventory and of being a business owner, is knowing where your business stands at the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, and the end of the month. And that's kind of why I did that 1st and 15th monthly, is because where's your samples at? Where's your products at? Where are your customers at, type of thing. Your storefront. The biggest part about being a business owner is making sure that your storefront is A1+1. And our storefront is our social media, and we get to design it however the HE double hockey sticks we want to. And the problem is that we so badly try to be like everybody else. And the difference with what we do and another business like Orange Theory Fitness is that, I know it's wild, huh? Is that Orange Theory Fitness has to follow a national brand. We are our own brand. So who are you? What colors do you like? What do people even know what you stand for? Do they know what you're interested in? You know, and part of Orange Theory Fitness's brand is we are a 1 hour full body group workout. So when people come to me and say, hey, what is Orange Theory? I give them a 30-second elevator pitch. What is your 30-second elevator pitch? What do you stand for? What is your purpose for your business and your organization? Because remember, people buy from who you are as a person. People buy from you for what you stand for and the vision that you cast out onto them. And if you're not casting out a vision and a purpose on your social media and your storefront, they just see product. And people need to know. So for an example, from Orange Theory Fitness standpoint, when people want to know what they're getting into. And so I always give them my 30-second elevator pitch before they come in to try out a workout. And why? Because they want to know what they're getting into. So people, before they buy from you, they want to know what they're buying. And they want to know who they're buying from and what that person stands for that they're buying from. Like, what are their values in XYZ? So when people walk by your store, what are they seeing? What kind of vibe are they getting from your store? Will it be attractive to come in? Because at any given time, you have no idea who is going to see one single post that you make. And at any time, that can either turn them away or turn them right in. And that is up to you. And that's a lot of responsibility, but that's the name of the game that we're in. And so that's kind of on that one. What do you have to offer? Like, does your storefront talk about who you are, your products, your opportunity? And another thing too is it's not that you can't do this. It's maybe you just don't know how. And if you don't know how, that's fixable, but can't is not, because you are choosing to not be able to do that. Waiting room, Britt. And so people, like, can't is a choice. How is fixable. And how you fix it is by our Facebook pages, our Zooms, your upline, all of that good stuff, books, podcast, YouTube, Google. There's always an answer for your question out there, and you just have the responsibility as a business owner to go and find it. And I'll take this because I work from home from Orange Theory Fitness in Colorado. So I work for 4 different studios, a franchise in Colorado, and I get to work from home. And my owner said to me the other day, he says, you're in charge of your schedule, but I expect XYZ from you every single day. And as business owners, we are in charge of our schedules, but what are you expecting from yourself every single day? And if you're not getting XYZ done, would you fire you or would you keep you hired? Because your job is on the line here. Your family's future is on the line here. And if you're not showing up as you are an employee of somebody else, you are letting down those very people that you started this for. If that be your future family or your current family, if you're not showing up as the business owner that you say you are, or the organization that you say that you want to create, then you're just talking out of your butthole, and nobody likes that because that's stinky stuff. That's crusty. And we are not crusty leaders here. We are way makers. And in order for us to make the way for people, we have to show. I know, my hair is so much fun to play with. And so we have to have the same mentality as being an employee as being our own boss. Does that make sense to everybody? And so if I show up every single day for my Orange Theory job, because it means so much to me that I don't want to let my owner down. But at the same time, my family depends on that job. But my family's future depends on me showing up for Lavelle every single day. And am I giving my same energy that I do to my 9 to 5 that I do for my own business? Probably not, to be honest with you. Why? Because I know that this opportunity will always be here. But it's not going to always be here because, hello, we have life-changing bonuses and money on the line here. And we all thought bonuses were going to come back in 2020, and they turned that real quick around and said, not today, honey. Who knows when this bonuses will come back? Have you already started counting yourself out? And another thing that my owner said is, so I do video editing, which is like super out. I don't do that. That's not what I do. And so I use this platform called Camtasia, and it's really hard for me to learn. And he says, I want you to be learning something new every single day. And I'm like, well, shit, okay. So that means that I have to go out and find something new to learn, and I have to go out and implement it every single day so I can become better and execute results that he's expecting of me, right? It's the same thing with us as business owners. We have to be learning something new every single day. We have to implement it, we have to execute it, and then we have to continue to execute it to see the results. But we can't just like go and learn something and say, okay, I'm good for today, and it go through in one ear and out the other. A lot of things don't even go through one ear and out the other. They kind of just bounce off of the one eardrum, because in order to go from one ear out the other, it has to stop right here in your brain. And in order for it to stop right here in your brain, you have to kind of think about it. You have to kind of like process it a little bit. But some of y'all, I swear to baby Jesus that it just kind of bounces off of one ear and out the other, or off the same eardrum, because I'm like, do we not talk about this every single day? Do we not talk about this every single day? Do we not have team trainings on here? We have to be our own resource. And quite honestly, a lot of us, I don't even know if I would hire me with the way that I've been acting and showing up. Would you hire you? No, let's not eat my hair. I know. Thank you. Because that's the thing though, is that we have the choice to show up or not. But we so badly want people on our team, but would you hire you? Would you want you on your team? Would the way that you're showing up, would that make your team proud for you to be their leader? And this goes a lot with the leadership skills from Jesse Lee that Brittany sent in the chat. We have to show up the way that we want our team to show up. We have to be the leader that we want our team to be. And Brittany says it all the time, that she went before us so that we could all be here today. She had to go through her own trenches. And I don't know if you guys were on the Elevation Church today, but it's basically the same thing, is that God did, so we can. God did, so we will, type of thing. Brittany already did all this shit and provided all of the trainings for us, and continues to provide trainings for us, and Krissa and XYZ, because they've already been through it. Now it's time for us to step up and go through our own stuff so we can provide for our team. Because even though we have so much amazing trainings, what you have to offer as a business owner and what you have to offer as a leader is way different than what I have to offer and what Brittany has to offer. So you have to go through your own trenches and your own obstacles and your own XYZ, because somebody on your team is going to go through the same thing you did, and you can be like, oh girl, like you're tripping. You're thinking about it way too hard. This is what I did. How about you give it a try and see if it works for you? But if you never allow yourself to go through those trenches and those obstacles and those oppositions and whatever they're called, then you won't be able to help anybody. So what is the point? What is the point? And so the last thing that I want to end on is the process of becoming an employee somewhere and using it for our own business. So number one, when you go to find a job, you're looking at different job descriptions, right? You're looking at different job descriptions. And when people are looking for an opportunity to work from home, they are looking for an opportunity that they can relate with and that they see value in. That's where your storefront comes into play. That's where your lives, that's where your stories, that's where your posts come in, because your stories and your posts and your lives are your job description. People can feel what you have to offer for the opportunity that they need by your posts and your lives. Your storefront is your job description. And then after you see the job description, you apply to have an interview. So when somebody gets in your inbox, that is them applying. Okay, that is them inquiring about the position. And the thing with an interview that my mom taught me a long time ago is you're not just seeing if you're a good fit for them, you're seeing if they are a good fit for you. And this is why conversations are so dang imperative, is because when you're talking to somebody, if that be voice message, if that be sending text messages or whatever it is, you're seeing if their vibe aligns with your vibe, if their mentality aligns with yours. And sometimes it won't, and sometimes it does. But just because everybody comes into your inbox doesn't mean that you want everybody on your team. Because, you know, you can go to a job. I mean, I've given plenty of interviews for a job, and I tell people all the time, I'm sorry, I just don't think we are the right fit for you. It's okay to tell people that, hey, I'm sorry, but like your mentality right now is not where it's at. That is not the mentality that I want on my team. Obviously, don't say it like that, but that is something for you to be thinking about, is that not everybody who comes in your inbox is going to be a runner. Not every single person on your inbox comes into your inbox is going to love this opportunity like you do. And that's okay. But the part is that you are having an interview with them. By you describing what you have to offer and by asking what they want in return and what they are looking for, you're seeing if this is a good opportunity for them. And it's okay if it's not. And that's kind of the mutual decision. When people go away, you know, it's kind of like when we have to fire somebody, it's if we fire somebody, we are doing them a favor. If they quit, they're doing us a favor. And if people leave you on read, if people leave you ghosted, they are doing you a favor because they've given you a sign it's not their time. And so what does that mean? You go love on them from afar, you pray for them, you go love on their social media, XYZ, but it is not the time for you to go and try and get them a position on your team because they are not ready. And that's okay. So having an interview. Okay, number 1. So number 3, they get accepted. So they buy a pack, you are ready to bring them on. Yay. So now we start trainings. Whenever you get a job acceptance offer, whatever, the number 1 thing that they do is they start training you for the way they want you to show up for that job. It's the very same thing with our business, is that we have trainings because we want people to show up as the best versions of themselves. So all we can do as leaders and business owners is provide the trainings and say, hey, this is what we're working on today. Let me know when you're done and we can move on to another day. You have to set that boundaries and set that expectation. And that is how we become successful. We don't know what we're doing, but that's not an excuse because we have the resources right here. So then number 4 or number 5, after you've started training a little bit, then we go into role playing. And we start role playing how to overcome objections. We start role playing how to overcome our own fears and our own worries. We start role playing how to answer just regular questions. If you are not actively role playing, and when I say role playing, that for us is having more conversations, because the more conversations you have, the more objections you are going to learn how to overcome. And if you are still worried about, oh, well, I'm worried that the patch is going to give me a rash, we have a problem on our hands. And that is where we need to start, is because that is just no longer an excuse. And so role playing comes from, and yes, Crystal just said it, 3 ways. 3 ways: going live, opportunity events that have already been done, having your own, practice overcoming objections in the mirror. Swear to God, have what are your own objections? What were your own objections? And then overcome those by talking in the mirror or by talking to a wall, whatever it is that you want to do. Practice. Because for Orange Theory, we cannot actively sell memberships until we have learned how to overcome objections. And some of the most common objections, and it goes with any sales, is spousal support, money, time, shopping around, and I think childcare is another one. And that goes things with us as well. How often do we get people in our inbox that are like, oh, yay, I want to do this so bad. I think it would be so great, but my husband won't support me. How are you going to overcome that objection? Oh my God, I so badly want to start. This is going to be so great, but I don't have the money to start. How are you going to overcome that objection? Oh, I want to start so bad. This is so exciting, but I don't have time. How are you going to overcome that objection? These are all parts of being a business owner for yourself, and then being able to teach your team members how to overcome these objections as well. But the beautiful thing, like I said before, Brittany has gone before us and has how many conversation trainings in the team page? Like, there is literally no excuse. The only thing that stops us is us and our fear of being better. And a lot of people are so scared of stepping into that next level because we're scared of the responsibility. And we have to be able to be responsible for where we are right here, right now. So then we can move on to the next level. And so, okay, so role playing, hands-on. Being hands-on in network marketing as a professional means leading Zooms, leading trainings, going live in the team page, sharing your content in the chat, sharing different conversations that you're having, being hands-on, sending podcasts, sending trainings that you're doing, all of these things. How are you being a hands-on leader? Then after you're being hands-on, then the consistency rolls into play. How are you consistently showing up for your team? How are you consistently learning? How are you consistently growing? How are you consistently overcoming objections? I swear to you, there should be at least one objection every single day that you are learning how to overcome, because that means you are having conversations. And I don't know if I heard this somewhere, or if maybe it was just like my crazy brain. Like, about 10% of the conversations you have turn into something. So for an example, if I'm having 20 conversations a day, that means maybe 2 of them will turn into either a customer or a promoter. 2 out of 20. Are you kidding me? That is wild. So if you're only having 5 conversations a day, that means that maybe 0.05 of them are turning into, or maybe 0.5. So maybe 0.5 of them turn into somebody on your team or a customer. That's not going to get you to where you want to be. We have to be able to step up our game if we want our results to be stepped up. Corrections. Where can you be corrected? Where can you learn? Does your social media need to be corrected? Does your content need to be corrected? Does your lives need to be corrected? And when I say corrected, that doesn't mean that you're not doing good enough or that you're not doing well. It just means constructive criticism. Like, somebody comes up to me and they say, oh my gosh, you do so good at what you do, but this is what you could do better to get better. Does that make sense? And so that is why your upline is a resource. Hey, can you take a look at, can you take a look at my social media and tell me, like, what's the vibe that you get? What do you feel like you get from my social media? And then you go in there and you're opening up the door to be corrected, to get better and to do better, to get better results. Number 9 is always more trainings. For new levels, there's always going to be new trainings. And that means that you can't watch the same VIP training every week. You should be knowing that you should be doing your own VIP training, okay? You should be able to have a VIP training for you and your team, because that is how you know your VIPs. If you don't know how to achieve VIPs and you are running for 4K, we have an issue. You're not running for 4K. So we need to take it back to the basics, and you need to be able to do your own trainings, and you need to up level your training some more for you and yourself and your business. Because, like, for me, if I'm a sales associate at Orange Theory Fitness and I want to be promoted to manager, I can't do training for a sales associate to become a manager. I have to start training to be a manager to become a manager. Does that make sense? Like, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep watching the same training over and over again. You can't keep listening to the same podcast episode over and over again and expect to get different. You have to do different to get different. That's all I'm going to say. After you do all of that, then comes the promotion. And then do you know what happens after you get that promotion, after you rank up? So you're at 4K right now and you rank up to 12K. Do you know what that means? you are starting this process all over again. You're having new interviews. You're accepting new people on your team. You are having new trainings. You are role playing in a different way. You're hands on a different way. You are showing up consistently in a different way. You are being corrected in a different way, and you're doing and watching more trainings. And then after you do that, do you know what happens next? 40K. And then do you know what happens when you hit 40K? It's the same thing over and over again. These concepts never change. We up level, but we keep these concepts the same. And so the last thing that I want to say is a text from my owner, my franchise owner. And we were talking about something, and he literally said, he goes, I think I find it so wild how much you don't believe in yourself. And he goes, but that's okay, because you are learning something new, and it's okay to be where you are and not have much confidence. But what's not okay is to stay there. So let's dive into more trainings. Let's start working together more, because the more we work together, the more your confidence will grow. And I'm telling you here right now, as a business owner, we are the same playing field. We want the same things. We want to be successful. We want to provide. We want to make the way for people. We are team members. Start utilizing all of this that we talked about, all that we have our hands on. Oh my God, seriously? We don't even have to go get a degree for network marketing. I don't even have to take out another student loan to become a professional in this industry. Do you know how wild that is? Literally, if Brittany never came into my life and I looked up on Google Lavelle Thrive and I joined, like, I could literally be successful on my own because of YouTube. I could be successful on my own because of books and podcasts and Google. Stop using your upline as an excuse, because they're not. They brought you here, and they are here for you. They are here with you, but they can't do it for you. And so we can't hold your hands. Nobody can hold your hands. The only hand you should be holding is your baby daddies and your husbands and your kids, and loving them and telling them that you're showing up for them every single day, because this is how important this is. So I hope you guys got value out of this. I hope it was something impeccable and pierced your heart. Brittany, do you have anything you want to say? Okay, so tomorrow we start reading GoPro chapters 1 through 3. Next Sunday we will have our first book club. Literally be listening to it. And I want to tell you guys, I read this book within 15 days. It's so incredible. But I'm going to start it over. And I really want you guys to focus on the chapters that we are reading for that 1 week. Read them over and over again if you have to, but also take what you're learning and implement it, and then execute it. Become a pro through chapters 1 through 3, and then you can move on and become a pro through chapters 4, 5, and 6. Does that make sense? Really soak in this time, because this book is incredibly out of this world. So I love you guys. I will share what I shared at the beginning of the team page, or you know what I'm saying. Okay, bye.